What's up, Guardians? Crusader here, and today we have a follow-up video for my previous how to set up mouse and keyboard in Destiny 2. Link down in the description. I wanted to revisit this because a couple things have changed since Beyond Light released. We also have some tweaks to some of my previous recommendations, as well as some things we didn't cover in the last video. You ready? Let's talk about it. So let's get into it. Now, while Beyond Light gave all the frames to PS5 and the Xbox Series X, those platforms still do not support mouse and keyboard. Until then, you may notice on those platforms that you have a new field of view slider that can go all the way up to 105 degrees. That's where you're going to want to set it. Yes, crank it all the way up. This will maximize your ability to track people in close quarters combat, as well as widen your view of the battlefield. It also makes the game feel faster, which admittedly takes some time to get used to, but you'll appreciate it in the end. Next-gen console players enjoy a whole new way to play Destiny. Now let's go over a few settings that we glossed over last time. In the settings, we want to turn anything off that disrupts your view of the battlefield. Keep in mind, these recommendations are mostly PvP focused to ensure nothing is getting in the way of taking in the information from your screen. Not necessarily a full cinematic experience. If you want that cinematic experience, you can probably leave all these settings on. First setting, depth of field. In Destiny 2, this blurs anything outside of your reticle while you're aiming down sights. The bokeh, or blur, is more enhanced the higher the quality of the setting. I leave this off. I want to keep my peripheral vision unhindered. Second setting, we want to set character detail distance to high. I want the person I'm shooting at to be as high resolution as possible at every distance. Next, we have chromatic aberration and film grain. In Destiny 2, chromatic aberration means that the area around the reticule is slightly more in focus than the rest of the screen. Now in practice, I didn't notice it that much. However, because I want my focus to be uniform across the entire screen, we set this to off. The same goes for film grain. I want the sharpest image possible when I'm playing the game. This is why we set film grain to off. Finally, motion blur. Now, motion blur is looked down upon in most first-person shooters. This is because the screen is blurred to simulate speed or quick movements. In Destiny 2, you can see this when, say, you're driving a Sparrow or perhaps in a Dawnblade. However, its effects in other aspects of the game, like aiming, seem to be limited. But we're going to stay on the safe side here and keep motion blur off. Now that we have those settings settled, let's talk about some amendments to the last video. Aim smoothing, remember that one? We recommended to turn that off, and we still do. But in Beyond Light, Bungie set this to a new value in their preference file that overrides your old setting if you don't go to the file and fix it yourself. Again, this is terrible news. To fix this, go to your users directory under your username you log in with. Then browse to the above directory. You should find a cvars.xml file in the preference directory. Open it up in any text editor and go down to this aim smoothing variable. Change the value here to 0. If the value is anything other than 0, your aim smoothing was on. Okay, now one more recommendation change. The ADS sensitivity modifier used to be a factor where 1.0 was the same as your look sensitivity, and any tenth you deviated away from it would either speed up or slow down your ADS sensitivity by that factor. Later, they changed these decimal numbers into whole numbers. We originally thought that this meant that the sensitivity numbers should be set to the same value to ensure that the two sensitivities were equal. That's what I recommended last time. But we have since found out that the value of 10 seems to map to the same 1.0 factor that previously existed before the settings change. Because of this, I now recommend setting this to 10 regardless of your look sensitivity setting. You could look at the new ADS sensitivity modifier and see that the numbers only go between 5 and 15. Now this is in line with the previous decimal factor, and that just about does it. It really feels good to be back on YouTube making videos after the Thanksgiving holiday. We also got a little puppy that's really eaten into my free time. Ooh, I know. Hopefully now we can get back to a regular upload cadence. I stream Monday through Thursday on Twitch. I'd love to see you there. Also, once again, make sure to check out that previous video on how to set up mouse and keyboard in Destiny 2. Everybody have a safe holiday season, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.